lovelies. So, I'm finally getting back to my serious talks. And I wanted to apologize again for how long this took. Um, Funny thing about serious talks, not only do I have to be in a very specific mood for it, it's also incredibly emotionally draining because I'm spending a lot of energy, I guess you could say, reflecting on my past and myself. So, this isn't something that I can easily sit down and do at any given time. I have to almost emotionally prepare myself for it. So, this one specifically actually took me a couple months before I managed to get the nerve up to actually do a video on it. And probably because it's one that actually affects me pretty close. So today, I was asked back in 2015, again, a long time ago, I'm so sorry, to talk about feelings of loneliness. Now, this is normal, obviously. Everyone feels lonely from one time to another, at least multiple times in their lives. And obviously, there's different forms of loneliness. There's the loneliness you feel when you can't make an emotional connection with anyone, you feel like you're not understood. There's the type of loneliness you feel when you don't have any family or when you don't have any friends. There's the type of loneliness you feel when you don't have a spouse or a significant other. Ultimately, I feel that, and this is my own opinion, so don't take it as fact, I feel that loneliness often derives from lack of love. And I know some of you might be like, hey, I'm not looking for love. I just feel lonely. Well, there's different forms of love. There's the form of love that is well known that you would have with a spouse, a significant other. It's a passionate, usually sexual-oriented love. Not necessarily always the case, but that is the most commonly known term that has to do with love. And not everyone is missing that. I mean, yeah, being in a relationship is great sometimes. Don't get me wrong. I loved my past relationships for the most part. But I don't mind being single either. There's a strange liberation in being single and not having to get permission on if something's okay or what the other person feels about something you want to do with your life. But for a lot of people, that's what you're missing. You're missing a spouse. You want physical connection on top of emotional connection. For this kind, I hate to say it, but you need a spouse. No amount of friends or family will be able to fill the gap that you feel because you want someone to be there as a mate. Meeting people isn't easy. I know that from experience. I'm a horrible introvert and I don't do well with strangers. For many of you that are like me, although I don't go on them because I'm not really looking for a relationship or dating at all right now, try dating sites. Try getting your friend to hook you up if they know anyone. If you're both friends with that one friend, there's a good chance that you two have something in common. More than just that person. Try going places that orbit around your hobbies, things you enjoy doing. If you enjoy video games, try going to an arcade more often. Try going, to public events. There's a good deal of stuff that different places will have as far as, I know back when I was growing up, there was a anime viewing group at a local college, And even though I wasn't college age, people were welcome because it was during non-business hours. And you'd met a lot of really interesting people there. Go to conventions. There's actually a lot of times in conventions or forums for conventions going on near you that they actually have topics and threads that you can meet up with other people who are single into that same stuff and looking for someone. Although it's difficult to meet someone just by happenstance, like what always happens in the movies, you can meet people. Just a word of advice. Don't go into a date expecting to fall in love. 9 times out of 10, you're going to be looking for something that isn't there or forcing something. Go into a date expecting to have fun. Focus on having fun. If love happens, it happens. If not, you had a great time and you probably just made a new friend. Don't expect it to happen immediately, because it probably won't. Relationships take time to build, and just because you really like this person and they like you doesn't mean that you two are 100% compatible. You might have drastically different views on certain things that you're not willing to budge on. And don't compromise yourself just because of someone else, but at the same time, don't be completely closed-minded either. It's up to your own discretion to know what's really important to you and if someone's a good influence or a bad influence. That being said, let's move on to another form of love. There's the type of love that comes from family or even deep friendship. It's a type of love and compassion and warmth you have for someone that you could never see yourself being with physically. It's not a sexual relationship. It's not a physical attractiveness. It's something where you care for this person so much. You love them even if you don't always like what they do. And it's someone who you've been with so much through thick and thin, through the years, that unless they did something to really fuck you over, you're not going to walk away from them anytime soon. Or her. That, unfortunately, doesn't come easy. That always starts off as just normal friendship. And much like meeting someone who you want to date, normal friendship is sometimes elusive. You have to find things that you enjoy and meet people through that. Hang out with your friends if you have any already, and go places with them that they can introduce you to more of their friends. Expand your circle. This is a particular challenge for me, so I know how you might feel. I have a very small circle of friends, and I kind of like that. Only problem is having a small circle of friends has its disadvantages. You don't really have much to do if these friends are already preoccupied. Your stories will probably be heard multiple times, or you'll hear their stories multiple times. And you probably won't be exploring all of the activities you enjoy doing unless they just happen to be all of the activities your friends enjoy doing. For example, I like camping. Some of my friends enjoy hiking, which I also enjoy hiking, but they don't enjoy camping. So I don't camp that often because I have no one to camp with. If I wanted to, I'm sure I could find friends that were more outdoorsy and go camping with them, but I'm okay not camping. I don't force my friends to, and I don't expect them to. Having someone there that you can talk to is one of the best things about having a friend. You have the love and support that you need. And for the most part, as long as they're a good friend, that's all you really need between them. You can have fun with them, you can go places with them, you can experience things together. And it's always nice to know that there's someone there who cares about you, even if it's just as a friend. If you're looking for friends and you don't have any as it is, again, try becoming more active in your favorite hobbies. Again, conventions are a great place to meet people, even if it's just the thread forums or forum threads where you're saying, hey, I want to meet up with other people cosplaying Legend of Zelda or Undertale or Bioshock, or I really enjoy gaming, is there anyone else who would enjoy gaming? Things like that. People at conventions usually aren't too unfriendly. There occasionally are snobs, but if you're on the threads, there's a good chance you're going to find a lot of people that are interested in the same things you are. And there's a good chance you'll be decently close to each other because you're both going to the same convention. And that's a good place to make friends. You could always take trips to each other's towns if you're that far apart. Or Skype, things like that. Now, I'm not saying that online friendship isn't bad. It's not. Growing up, many of my friends were online friends, and I had a very select few real-life friends. And that's how I preferred it. Just because they're not physically there with you doesn't mean they're not real. You can have a much more solid emotional connection to someone that you can see through a monitor if you really wanted to. So, as long as you're both okay with being friends over the internet, there's nothing wrong with that either. So we've covered spouse, love, and deep family and friend love, as well as just normal friendship. There's one more kind that's very important. And although it won't solve your feelings of loneliness, it's incredibly vital to support lasting relationships with friends or spouses. You have to love yourself. And that might not be as easy as it sounds. We all do stupid things. We all have drawbacks or faults that we're not happy with. We all regret things in our past. I'm sure that I'm not the only one who has sat there and just randomly thought about something I did 10 years ago and immediately rethought all of my life decisions and dwelled on how horrible that decision was, and then just sat there and regretted it for like 5 minutes. We all do that. It's an experience, and we grow from it. Your past doesn't necessarily sculpt who you will be. It helps define who you are, but it's not the past that helps define who you are. It's your choices you make and the lessons you learn from your past that define who you are. Who do you want to be? You can be that person. It'll take some change and some time, but you should strive to be the person you want to be. And it won't happen overnight, so don't beat yourself up. But if you can love yourself, then you'll love yourself enough to know that you deserve friends. Or a spouse, if that's what you're looking for. You can love yourself enough to take risks. And if they don't pay off, then they don't pay off. But if they do, then you might have some friends that will last a lifelong relationship with you. That all said, dealing with feelings of loneliness isn't easy. It's emotionally draining and often depressing. Believe it or not, I feel depressed pretty frequently from loneliness. And it's not that I want a boyfriend, it's not that I want... I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. It's not that I want a boyfriend, it's not that I want a bigger circle of friends, it's not that I want 1,000,000 adoring fans. It's that you can still be surrounded by people and feel absolutely alone. It's unfortunately a human condition that's incredibly normal now. When you feel lonely, that's fine. It's to be expected. Reach out to a friend. See if they want to do something. Invest in a hobby. Loneliness is usually just you being sad because you don't feel like there's anyone out there that you can connect with. But there are. You just have to know where to look. Whatever you do, don't dwell in it. And that's hard. I do that too. But don't just sit there and simmer and stew on how lonely you are. It's really easy to fall into your own sadness and just never crawl out. Reach out to a friend. Go onto a forum. Go into, dare I say it, even a chat room. Skype. Go out to a community on, I don't know, YouTube. YouTube have communities. There's multiple websites out there now, and I'm sure you can meet some really good people on them. You become really good friends. Meet someone in your school if you're still going to school. Say hi to that person that you've sat next to for the past, 6 months in math class or social studies. If you're in college, say hi to someone that's sitting on the campus. Yeah, there's a good chance that they'll randomly not want anything to do with you, but there's also a chance that this person might just be lonely too. You might have something in common. The important thing is to stay strong and know that you're not lonely because there's anything wrong with you. You're lonely because you just haven't taken the steps necessary to not be lonely. Anyway, I hope that helped at least someone. So, if you have any requests on serious discussions, let me know. And if you have any specific questions, any specific problems you're having, anything like that, feel free to send me a private message. I'll do it anonymously, obviously, because if you're having an issue, I don't want to bring it to your attention. But I'll address it in a video, and that way, hopefully I can help some of you people out there. So, thank you for joining me on Quits Gaming, and this was another serious talk. So, thank you for joining me.
Hey guys, I'm Bear.
I'm Silvermore.
And thanks for watching our video.
If you like what you see, why not like, comment, or subscribe by clicking the button to the bottom of this video, or you can check out our other social media sites in the description below, or on this beautifully illustrated picture that Bear drew.
So we'd like to give you guys thanks for everything, and if you like what you saw, try looking at some of the other videos.
Always open to suggestions, so feel free to let us know if there's anything you'd like to see us play. Thank you for joining us again, and we will see you on the next episode. Mwah.
Bye, babies.